In this video, I'll be revealing the 3 paths that $1.5 million retirees take and why one of them tends to outperform in the long run. Through working with clients at this savings level, I've discovered that the same $1.5 million produces completely different outcomes depending on whether fear and impulse or strategy drives the decisions. And many retirees accidentally choose paths that destroy their retirement. That's exactly why I'm making this video today, to show you 3 paths and help you understand why a structured income approach succeeds while a hope and hold or spend early strategy tends to underperform. So let's get right into it. The first path that I see is what I call the hope and hold strategy. And it's one fear-driven retirees fall into without even realizing it. These are the retirees who have done everything right. They've saved the $1.5 million. They've sacrificed, budgeted, and planned. But once they finally get to retirement, they completely freeze. They're terrified of running out of money, so they barely touch their savings. They live on as little as possible, even though they have more than enough. And because they're waiting for the perfect moment to claim Social Security, a moment that honestly never actually arrives, they delay it far longer than is necessary. And what happens? They live their healthiest years scared to spend. They skip trips. They skip experiences. They miss out on living the retirement that they worked decades to build. Then they pass away with a massive untouched balance sitting in their accounts. Money that never actually improved their life. This is why the hope and hold approach is so damaging, even though the portfolio value looks great on paper. Retirement isn't about dying with the biggest balance for your heirs. It's about finally enjoying the retirement that you've spent 30 to 40 plus years saving for. And here's the painful truth. When you're overly cautious, those working years, those sacrifices, they were wasted because the experiences you were saving for never actually happened. Even delaying Social Security too long can backfire, especially if your health declines before you get the value from the benefit that you spent your whole life earning. So while this fear-based path feels safe, it often becomes the worst outcome. You sacrifice lifestyle, freedom, and joy in exchange for a sense of security that isn't even real. Fear can negatively impact your lifestyle. But let's talk about this spend early, fix later path and reveal how this can potentially create tax disasters. So the second path that I'm referring to that many retirees fall into is called the spend early, fix later trap. This one is driven by impulse, not fear, and it feels smart at first, but it ends up creating one of the biggest tax disasters in retirement. And here's how it usually plays out. These retirees claim Social Security at 62 because they want that income now, and on the surface, it feels like a safe move. You start collecting checks and you avoid touching your savings. But at the same time, they barely touch their 401k or IRA at all. They let it grow, thinking they're being responsible by keeping it invested as long as possible. But here's the problem. That untouched 401k or IRA keeps compounding. And by the time they reach required minimum distribution age, it's often grown into a massive balance, causing those RMDs to be extremely large. And those forced withdrawals don't just create income, they create tax brackets you absolutely do not want to be pushed into. This spend early, fix later approach often costs retirees tens to even hundreds of thousands of dollars in excess lifetime taxes. That's money that could have stayed in your pocket, but instead goes straight to the IRS. So why does this combination become so catastrophic? First, claiming Social Security at 62 permanently reduces that benefit for life. You lock in lower guaranteed income forever. Second, letting that 401k or IRA grow untouched means those RMDs become enormous. And now you're forced into higher tax brackets whether you need the income or not. And once those large RMDs stack on top of Social Security, they start taxing your benefits and even trigger IRMAA surcharges for Medicare. So, even though this path looks smart in your early 60s, it almost always turns into a tax bomb in your 70s. And that explosion can completely derail retirement. So impulse creates tax disasters, but a structured income path reveals a better option. The third path, The one that can help long-term is a structured income approach. This is where retirees stop relying on fear or impulse and start using intention, math, and timing to turn their $1.5 million into reliable, tax-efficient income. So here's what this path looks like. Instead of avoiding their 401k and IRAs, retirees take small, intentional withdrawals in their early 60s. Not because they desperately need the money, but because it positions them for lower taxes later. These withdrawals fill up lower tax brackets before Social Security and RMDs eliminate that opportunity altogether. At the same time, they optimize their Social Security claiming between full retirement age and 70, allowing their guaranteed income to grow by 24% all the way up to 76% higher for life. That's a massive increase in income that requires zero market risk and lasts as long as you do. And because they're strategically drawing from their 401k and IRA early, they're keeping RMDs smaller in their 70s, avoiding high bracket distributions that could wreck retirement. When you combine all of this, intentional withdrawals, smart Social Security timing, and tax bracket management, the result is powerful. So why does this strategy succeed where fear and impulse fail? Because those early withdrawals diffuse the RMD tax bomb before it ever actually forms. And because delaying Social Security gives you larger inflation-protected income right when you're most vulnerable to market risk. And it helps you potentially lower your lifetime tax bill, keeping more funds in your pocket. This path creates confident, sustainable spending, the kind that lets retirees actually enjoy their money instead of being controlled by it. Now that you understand the three paths, if you need more help with your retirement, click the link below to watch my free training, where my team will show you exactly how to optimize your retirement plan as a whole. One of the biggest advantages of the structured income approach is tax bracket control, something most retirees never even think about until it's too late. So here's what this really means. In your early 60s, before Social Security begins and before RMDs take effect, you have access to the lowest tax brackets you're likely going to see in retirement. With a structured income strategy, you take intentional, modest withdrawals from those tax-deferred accounts during this period. Those withdrawals fill up lower tax brackets while they're still available to you, well before Social Security and RMDs reduce that opportunity. By managing income this way, you avoid the trap that many retirees face later on, being pushed into much higher tax brackets once RMDs begin. Thoughtful bracket control can save significant taxes over your lifetime, simply by taking income at the right time rather than waiting until the IRS forces it. So why is tax bracket management more valuable than just maximizing account growth? Because leaving your tax-deferred accounts untouched might grow the balance, but it also grows the tax bill attached to that balance. You end up with a larger account on paper, but less spendable income because those future withdrawals happen at much higher tax rates. Intentional early withdrawals flip that equation. They're designed to optimize after-tax income, not just your pre-tax balance. That's the real power of bracket management. Better results, lower taxes, and more income that you actually get to use. Tax control saves money, but Social Security optimization reveals how to maximize guaranteed income. Another major advantage of a structured income approach is how it unlocks the full potential of Social Security, something that most retirees never fully take advantage of. And this isn't just about automatically delaying until 70. It's about timing it strategically to fit your retirement picture. During the years before you claim, you're not going without income. Instead, you're using carefully planned withdrawals from your retirement accounts to bridge the gap. These withdrawals are structured in a way that keep taxes low and income steady, giving you the freedom to wait for Social Security. And that's what makes this strategy work. The real benefit shows up when you get the timing right. Social Security becomes a guaranteed, inflation-adjusted income stream, giving you dependable foundation for the years that you need it most. It adds flexibility and peace of mind, letting other retirement resources work alongside it rather than being your only fallback. Strategic Social Security timing also plays beautifully with tax planning. You can take retirement account income when tax brackets are lower and rely on Social Security later, smoothing out your tax picture across retirement. It's one of those levers in retirement that can increase income, reduce risk, and give you peace of mind all at the same time. Now that you see why structure beats fear and impulse, let's look at the complete framework. The real power of this strategy comes from combining intentional withdrawals, Social Security, and tax bracket management into one coordinated system. So, how do you actually implement a structured income framework with $1.5 million? It starts by calculating the optimal tax-deferred withdrawal amounts early in retirement years. These withdrawals aren't random. They're based on your available tax brackets, making sure you fill the low-risk brackets without spilling into higher ones. From there, you determine the ideal Social Security timeline. This decision is based on your health, longevity expectations, and whether your portfolio can comfortably bridge the gap while your Social Security benefit grows. And once this plan is in motion, you monitor and adjust every single year. Market returns change, tax laws shift, and income needs evolve. So keeping your withdrawals and bracket management aligned is what ensures long-term success. When you follow this complete framework, that $1.5 million is typically capable of sustaining 30 plus years of retirement because every part of your plan works together rather than against itself. So what makes this structured approach consistently outperform the fear-driven and impulse-driven paths? It removes emotion from the equation. You're no longer guessing or reacting. You're following a systematic approach built on math, tax efficiency, and a lifetime income optimization. Annual reviews keep you on track even when circumstances change. And this strategy addresses taxes, income, spending needs, and risk all at the same time, something that those other two paths fail to do. That's why this structure so often makes $1.5 million feel like more, while fear and impulse can make even the biggest nest egg fall short. Now that you understand the three paths that $1.5 million retirees take, and why only the structured income approach with intentional tax-deferred withdrawals, delayed Social Security, and smart tax bracket management actually works long-term, you're in a position to choose the path that truly succeeds. If you want help implementing this structured income approach, click the link below to watch my free training, where our team will walk you through exactly how to optimize your retirement plan. I'll see you in the next one.